April 20th, 1999. It was a Tuesday morning that forever changed the way America viewed school safety. At approximately 11:19 a.m., two students, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, carried out the deadliest school shooting in U.S. history at that time at Columbine High School. By the time the attack had ended, 12 students and one teacher had been killed, more than 20 others had been injured, and an entire community had been left devastated. More than 25 years later, Columbine remains one of the most significant tragedies in modern American history, not only because of what happened, but because it changed policing, school security, emergency planning, and conversations around violence. This is the tragic story of Columbine High School. Columbine High School was located in the suburban community of Littleton, serving nearly 2,000 students. To most people, it was an ordinary high school and hadn't been in the spotlight before. Students worried about homework, sports, prom, graduation, and college applications. Teachers prepared lessons, and parents dropped off their children, expecting another routine day at school. Nothing suggested that this Tuesday would become one of the darkest days in American history. But at approximately 11:19 a.m., Harris and Klebold began their attack outside the school before moving inside the building. Within minutes, panic spread throughout the campus. Teachers rushed students into classrooms, some barricaded doors with desks, others instructed students to climb out windows to escape. Many students hid in classrooms, storage rooms, and beneath desks, hoping they wouldn't be discovered. Law enforcement officers quickly responded, but the situation unfolded rapidly and amid great confusion. By shortly after noon, the attack had ended with the deaths of Harris and Klebold. In total, 13 innocent people had lost their lives. Throughout this tragedy, the names most worth remembering are those of the victims. Among them was teacher William Dave Sanders, who helped direct students to safety after being wounded. The 12 students who were killed came from different backgrounds, interests, and friend groups. They were athletes, musicians, artists, and teenagers looking forward to graduation and adulthood. Survivors have spoken about remarkable acts of courage that day. Students helping classmates escape, teachers protecting children, and first responders risking their lives to reach those trapped inside. These stories of compassion and bravery are an important part of Columbine's legacy. In the years after the shooting, investigators worked to understand Harris and Klebold's backgrounds and motivations. The investigation found that the attack had been planned over an extended period. However, experts caution against reducing the tragedy to a single cause. Research has shown that acts of targeted violence typically result from a complex combination of personal, social, and psychological factors rather than one simple explanation. Many early media narratives, including assumptions about bullying alone explaining the attack, were later challenged by more comprehensive investigations. Understanding these complexities is important, but many researchers and journalists today recommend avoiding an excessive focus on the perpetrators, as extensive publicity can unintentionally contribute to the notoriety some attackers seek. As with many breaking news events, misinformation spread quickly after Columbine. One of the most widely repeated stories involved claims about specific conversations between the perpetrators and victims. Years of investigation showed that early reports were incomplete or inaccurate. The official investigation corrected numerous misconceptions that had been widely accepted in the media. Columbine serves as a reminder that information released during a crisis often changes as investigators gather evidence. The impact of Columbine reached far beyond Colorado. Police departments across the United States reevaluated their response to active shooter incidents. Previously, officers waited for specialized tactical teams before entering dangerous situations. After Columbine, however, many agencies adopted immediate response strategies designed to reach and stop an attacker as quickly as possible. Schools also introduced lockdown procedures, emergency communication systems, and regular safety drills. Many of these practices remain standard today. This tragedy also prompted renewed conversations about youth violence, mental health, access to support services, and how communities can identify and respond to warning signs before violence occurs. Over 25 years later, the effects of Columbine continue to be felt. Researchers studying targeted violence have examined the case extensively, leading to changes in how schools, law enforcement, and mental health professionals identify and respond to potential threats. Many school districts adopted multidisciplinary threat assessment teams, expanded access to counseling services, and improved communication between educators, parents, and law enforcement. The tragedy also sparked ongoing conversations about responsible media coverage. Many news organizations now place greater emphasis on telling the stories of the victims and survivors rather than giving extensive attention to those who committed the violence, with the goal of reducing the risk of inspiring copycat attacks. For the families, survivors, and community, however, Columbine is not defined by policies or headlines. It is remembered as the loss of 13 lives, the lasting impact on countless others, and a reminder of the importance of supporting young people, recognizing warning signs of distress, and fostering communities where people feel safe seeking help. This tragedy has taught a lesson to many people across the country, not just in Colorado or the community of Columbine. As we remember Columbine over 2 decades later, it remains one of the defining tragedies in modern American history. It reshaped school safety, emergency response, and public conversations about preventing violence. While history remembers the names of Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold because of the crimes they committed, the enduring legacy of Columbine belongs to the students, teachers, families, first responders, and community members whose lives were forever changed. Remembering them with dignity and continuing efforts to reduce the risk of future violence is one of the most meaningful ways to honor those affected. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, consider subscribing for more carefully researched videos that explain major historical events.